Good morning, and on today's video we're going to be inflating a Tobin Sports Miravia Pro inflatable boat. You get these from Costco. You used to be able to get them on Amazon. The inflation assembly of it's probably pretty transferable for most boats that have the aluminum floor and aluminum bench seats. So this one came with the Air Hammer inflatable pump. I've inflated it once by myself. The instructions were very vague, so I figured I'd do a video so people had a better description on how to do it. I did it in 18 minutes from this point to unpackaging to fully inflated and ready to go, with every tube inflated to 3.5 psi. So 20-minute setup's really not bad. It's about the same for teardown. There's a couple tricks that I'll show you that will make it easier. The instructions tell you to do it one way, but I found you fight it more if you do it their way. So I'll show you my way, and it will probably aid you in putting yours together, may it be this brand or similar inflatable boats. All right. Okay, so first things first, make sure the area where you're going to be setting it up is free of sticks, rocks, anything that could possibly puncture or rip the bottom of your boat. I set a tarp up just to be safe. Set it up, the bag in which, or your boat, wherever everything's packaged, just off to the side so you can open it up, kind of pull everything on as needed. And I'll pull everything out, and then I'll give you a step-by-step for the assembly of the floor and everything like that, but I'll just speed the video up for that. Once you get it to this point, so you have your main boat pulled out, I just always put the bench seats to the side. You don't need them until after you start inflating and you have the floor in. As far as the packaging that comes with it, the only thing that I kept for packaging was this foam, just to kind of wrap the floor pieces, just to try to stop any damage from happening. They are rounded edges on these, but anything to help. So pull this out, and I start with the nose piece. So I'll get the nose piece in and then show you how to put it in, because I find if you put this piece in properly, every other piece goes in and you don't have to deal with your floor being all out of whack or anything. So it makes it a lot easier if you just take the extra time to put this piece in properly the first time. Okay, so once you start putting this piece in, just put it in slowly. You'll notice there's usually a reinforced corner where these actually sit against. So you want to get it against that and then snug it right up against the front. You want to center this in the center. If you're having any problems with this not centering, it could be one of a few things. It could be bunched up at the top, and so you might just have to pull it out and readjust. Or you might need to actually pull this piece out, inflate the keel to the proper pressure, deflate it, and then that'll just allow the valve to go to the top instead of to the side. I had that issue when I first installed this, and so that's what I did, and it fixed the problem. So just push it all the way up, get this centered, make sure this is centered before you start putting other pieces in, or it's just going to fight you on the next step. So once you take your time, just put it in both sides, slowly push it up until that valve's nice and centered. And then once you get that piece in, you don't do the two middle sections, you'll skip right to the back. Get the back section in, because it needs to go underneath this board. So do the number 4 board, and then you can do the 2 center boards. Alright, so you'll get it to this point, you get your back in nice and flush, get your sides in, keep the same gap from side to side, And then I put the second board in. Once again, make sure that's nice and even, both sides. Third piece, get the back seam in. Then you gotta lift the second and the third, kind of make a tent out of it, and then connect it. And then before you start pushing down on anything, just double check to make sure there's nothing getting pinched anywhere, or else you're gonna create some problems. And this way, you literally just push that much and that's all it takes. If you don't take your time to get that front piece in, you'll be pushing and pushing and pushing and literally having to push that whole corner in, which is a lot of friction and a lot of wear and tear that I don't think you need to do. So I wouldn't suggest doing it. And now you put in your edge pieces. And as you can tell by the shape, they go like this. And then that way when the tube inflates, it kind of takes the same shape, holds it in place. And on this boat, I'll show you on this side, it's reinforced here. So as you can tell, that's where you put these. So I'll put all four in, I'll show you where they are. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to center it on the reinforced patch, and then hopefully with any luck that will prevent excessive wear and tear. And so once you've done that, then you can start with inflating. Start with the one that's labeled number 1. Go to, me personally, I went to 3 psi to everything first and then topped everything up to 3.5. So I'll do that and I'll show you. So just a couple things before you start pumping it up. So these are locking valves. If you turn them one way, they'll pop out and no air comes out. And that's what you want when you're pumping it up. And then when you want to drain it, you push it in and turn it, and then air comes out. So that's open, that's closed. So you want it in the closed position before you start filling it. Once I get most of it inflated, you'll see me stop and put both of the bench seats in. You have to put the bench seats in before you fully inflate it, or you will not be able to get the bench seats in because the tubes just inflate too much and then they stretch and you can't get it hooked on the seatbelt material. So you'll see me do that in the time lapse. Okay, so that's fully inflated. Seats are in place. As you can tell, it's they're pretty solid once they're inflated. They I really like this one because it does have the inflatable keel, which actually does inflate quite a bit on these ones. And so it actually gives you an advantage when you're on the water. And so another thing to check, which is kind of hard to show you, just roll it on its side, check to make sure the keel is in line with the rubbing, or the rub protection. And I'll just make sure that you're going in the direction you're actually wanting to go. And yeah, so that's the inflation of it. It's not too difficult. The deflation is pretty easy. The paddles, they just snap together. They're just 2-piece. You unscrew a little cap, nut type thing. Put your oar on. both sides, put the nut back on, just stops them from falling into the water. And that's the inflation of it. All in all, pretty easy. If you have this style pump, the air hammer, it does use batteries and it tells you the pressure. I don't think it's the most accurate, but it gets you in the ballpark. More often than not, as soon as you go in the water, you're going to either lose some pressure or gain some pressure, so it's not the end of the world if you're a bit above, a bit below. I just wouldn't be going, full PSI over by any means. But yeah, I'll throw the paddles on and show you that. Okay, paddles on. Pretty straightforward, just slip it in, it snaps, do the nut up, holds it in. I like how it actually has a lock, so it just kind of stays in place on these boats. Just a little bit of info on these. It's rated at 5 passengers, 826 pounds. Combination of luggage, passengers, and motor is 14, 11. And it's rated for a 15 horsepower motor at 202 pounds. So that's a pretty heavy motor. I'm assuming that's probably rated for a 15 horsepower 4-stroke, because I have a 20 horsepower that is only 92 pounds. So yeah, that's a heavy motor if it's 200 pounds. So all in all, as you can tell, once it's inflated, you got a spot for your gas tank and or deep cycle battery and battery box. It's a decent amount of room. You can sit comfortably. I don't suggest sitting on hard ground. If you want to sit on it, don't inflate the keel. Even then, be careful getting in and out so you don't tear the tubes. If you can, put it in water before you get into it. This boat's about 120 pounds when it's fully inflated with everything that's incorporated in the boat, actually in the boat. So it's a fairly hefty boat. It's not too bad. Plan on getting transom wheels for it, which will just mount onto the back here, which should make it a lot easier to move around. But there you go. Okay, so that's what it looks like with a 9.9. It's actually a 20 horsepower that I bought, thinking was a 9.9. Sorry, yeah, 9.9, because it's badged as a 9.9. Appears to be badged a long time ago as a 9.9, but this is actually a 1978 Mercury 220 horsepower. So it weighs 92 pounds. So it weight-wise, it can go on the transom. Power-wise, it is more than what it's rated for. But it gives you an idea of what that size motor looks like on this size boat. Transom has no problem supporting the weight. It doesn't even seem to be, well, maybe just that tiniest bit, but I'm also only pumped up to 3 psi. If I was at 3.5 right now, I would probably not be flexing at all. So gives you a pretty good idea. It's actually a good sized boat for something that comes out of a tiny little box. So as far as deflation goes, just go over, push this in, turn it counterclockwise, and it will be loud. Oh, I'm sorry. You turn it clockwise. And as you can tell, the keel deflates quick. It's not that much air in it. It's pretty small. And I'll pull the motor off, deflate the rest, and show you how to pack it up. And well, of course, the camera died while I was in the midst of doing that. It's pretty straightforward. You just pull the floor panels out. I put the floor panels in, the bench seat in, wrap the foam around it, squeeze as much air out of the air, or out of the air chambers as you can. The big thing is just, take your time. Don't try to force anything. I personally keep the valves open, and so that way once you have it rolled up, any air that's still in there when you start to tighten it down in the bag can get squished out, no problem. Sorry. And yeah, and then you just put it in, and I fold everything up. Then I just lift the nose off, put everything inside there, put the nose back over top, and you can kind of see is everything's inside the boat, and then you can just do your bag up or bin up or whatever you're storing your boat in, and that's it.